Hello there and welcome to this video. My name is Somy and you're welcome to my YouTube channel. Before I begin, I really just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who watched my previous video and videos, everyone who gave a like, everyone who left a comment, shared, and most especially to all the wonderful people who are subscribed to my channel. Honestly, you guys are amazing. Thank you, and thank you so much. And perhaps you're watching this video now and you're not subscribed. I mean, you might as well. Okay, without further ado, let's just get straight into today's video. Something about you feels so special. Pretty up from the minute that I met you. So, of course, I have another story time for us today. I don't know, it feels like I have too many stories, right? But actually, I think I've only told like 3 stories now. But it's just amazing how these things just keep coming back to me, and God just uses them to show me different things out of His words, and He uses them to encourage me, and most oftentimes chastise me, probably like today's story time will do, but we'll see as we go. So it all happened. I was in JSS 3 or 2, I believe, which is probably about year 8 or year 9. I hope I'm right. Yeah, probably about year 8 or year 9 at the time. And I was boiling water for something. And for some weird reason, I can't remember now, but the kettle was unavailable at the time. So I ended up using a pot to boil this water. So I put the water in the pot, put the pot on the cooker, on the stove, and let it boil. So when it was ready, I went back to the kitchen and just imagine this, please imagine this with me. So you have a pot, right, on the cooker, on the stove top, right? Okay, and this is the cover of the pot. I use my left hand to lift up the lid of the pot. I think the most logical thing to do, the most ideal thing to do would be, since I'm using this left hand, would be to move the lid or the cover to my left, okay? But no, that's not what I did. I used my left hand and I moved the lid to the right. And you guessed as much, like as soon as I moved it, all that pressure from the boiling water in the pot, unlike a kettle has like a nozzle that can let steam escape, but this one, the pot was completely sealed off, so all the pressure was just in the pot. As I moved the lid to my right, to my left hand, there was just instant surge of steam, on my arm. I felt that sharp pain, but I quickly brushed it off. These things happen sometimes when you're cooking, right? When you're in the kitchen, it's nothing. So I just went about doing what I needed to do. I think it was just about a minute or 2 minutes later, I was doing something and then my eyes just looked down on my left arm and I realized that the steam, that I thought was just very little or very minor, had moved my skin. Well, not all my skin. Had moved a portion of my skin to one side. Now, that's another story on its own. The fact that sometimes the little things that we take for granted, or sometimes the small things that we do and think, it's not going to cause any harm, may at the end of the day actually, bring a certain amount of pain and cause, harm that might be too big or may cause harm that we did not expect. So I looked at this arm and I saw that my skin had moved to one side. I don't know if you can see this clearly, but if you look on my arm here, I've got like this scar, which I like to call a natural tattoo. And that was as a result of actually what happened. So immediately my eyes saw that my skin had moved to one side. All this pain just came from nowhere. It's like my eye was just, the starting point, the signal taken in from my eyes just went through my brain, my nervous system and everything. Just realized that, oh, there's something there. This instant pain just happened. This instant pain just came up. I started screaming. We were able to do a bit of first aid at home that day. And then the next day I went into the hospital, to get proper treatment and shots and all of that. What's the point of this story? Looking back at my wonderful scar, it's just so amazing how it all happened quickly, how quickly the steam hit my hands and I brushed it off, how quickly my eyes looked at my arm and saw my skin move to one side, and then how quickly, I felt so much pain and became instantly restless. But then the major takeaway from this particular story today, we might visit the story again and bring out all the points, but the main thing from the story today, as the Lord was just trying to teach me and remind me this past few weeks, it was all about my eyes. Let's just imagine that I had not looked down at my arm and seen my skin. I probably would have continued doing what I was doing for a few minutes longer, because it was as soon as I saw it, I kid you not, it was as soon as I saw it that the pain came rushing. And then the Holy Spirit just told me, he was like, that is just the importance of your eyes. It's so important to see. It's so important to see clearly. It's so important to have clarity. It's so important in life to be able to see and understand what you're doing, where you're going, and where you are at the time. Honestly, if I hadn't seen that scar, if I hadn't seen what happened, I probably wouldn't have known that there was anything happening to me at that time. The way I saw and suddenly felt pain, it prompted me, to want to get some first aid and, get it treated. The second thing that came to my mind is because the amazing thing for me in the story is, like I said, or I think I've said it earlier, if I hadn't seen that thing, if I hadn't seen this wound, if I hadn't seen this injury, the time I saw it, if I'd seen it 5 minutes later, that would have been when, I'd have felt the pain. And perhaps it would have been too late then. Who knows? It's not just important for us to see, but to see on time. We can see so many different things. An important scripture is the book of Psalms, chapter 119, verse 18. And it says, open my eyes that I may see wondrous things from your law. Guys, honestly, it's so amazing. If I hadn't seen or looked at my arm the time I looked at it, I honestly don't think I would have known that there was something there that I needed to work on. The Bible says, open my eyes that I may see wondrous things from your law. I can choose to say, God, open my eyes that I may see what's going on, that I may see wondrous things from your word. Open my eyes that I may see something that is probably wrong in me that I need to work on, because we can only work on something that we can see. If I hadn't seen that wound, if I hadn't seen, this injury that's on my arm, I wouldn't have done the first aid, I would have gone to hospital the next day to get properly treated. But because I saw it, open my eyes that I may behold wondrous things from your law. Psalm 119, verse 18. I think it's so important for us to see. Honestly, I think the message on sight and seeing is so big. It's so big and so broad on its own that, you need an entire sermon, to actually understand it. But I think the takeaway for me, especially from this story, is how important it is for us to see. Most of us are still in lockdown. Most of us are still in quarantine. We've got more time now for us to think, to look inwards, to actually ask the Holy Spirit, open my eyes that I may behold, that I may see. Is there something I need to work on? Is there something I need to fix? What is it that isn't going well in my life? Perhaps, you remember how I felt that, sudden pain when I initially removed the lid of the pot, but I brushed it off. Open my eyes to see probably something that I've overlooked. Open my eyes to see something that, that the enemy is trying to do. Open my eyes to anything within me that I need to work on, so I can properly work on it even in this time that I have with you, so it wouldn't, grow or change into something worse. To be honest, I really cannot overemphasize the importance of opening of the eyes. We remember, as 2 Corinthians chapter 3 verse 18 says, we behold the glory of God that we are transformed. It was only when I saw the wound in my arm that I was able to treat it, So as we ask the Lord to open our eyes, we begin to see so many things He wants us to work on, and then we can then be transformed from glory to glory. So 2 important scriptures in this story time: Psalm 119 verse 18 and 2 Corinthians chapter 3 verse 18. They both have verse 18, funny enough. Step at number 18. But honestly, this week, guys, my eyes have just been opening to certain things and certain mistakes that I made. Like I said earlier, the fact that I moved the lid to my right and not to my left was a mistake. And sometimes we make mistakes in life. If you haven't made a mistake in your life, I really bless God for you, but sometimes we make mistakes in life that may lead us to certain things. That's why it's important for us to always ask the Lord for wisdom, so we can make sure that we do the right thing for time, to avoid, certain things that come with making mistakes. But the good thing is God is so faithful that even after we've made that mistake, He's not going to let us suffer. He's not going to let us die or end in our mistake. He will always be there for us. He will always be there. He will always show us this is what you've done, and He will not just show us what we've done, but He will make sure that He shows us the way of escape. So perhaps you've made a mistake in your life, and perhaps you just got yourself involved in something you weren't meant to get yourself involved in. And He's created, something different in your life that you may not even be aware of. I just want you to pray, and I pray for you that your eyes may be open, that you may see, and that you may know what God wants you to work on. Open my eyes that I may behold wondrous things out of thy law. Open my eyes that I may behold, your beauty, your glory. I may behold who I am in your words. Open my eyes that I may behold your glory as in a mirror. And then as I keep looking into that mirror, I am being transformed from glory to glory, even just as you and the Lord Jesus Christ. I hope this video has blessed you, and the key theme here is just ask the Lord to open my eyes. Father, open my eyes, because the earlier you see and identify this wound, the earlier you see and identify this injury, the quicker you can have it treated. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope this video has absolutely blessed you. If it has, please do give this video a thumbs up, leave us sweet comments in the comment section down below, and please do share to your family and friends as well, so they can be absolutely blessed. Thank you so much again for watching, and until next time, I'll catch you later. Bye. Bye.